Welcome back to Good Morning Quad Cities at 11. We're taking your plant and garden questions here with Craig Hignight. And we have a question from Door County, Wisconsin about hydrangeas. So they say, we've never had blooms on our hydrangeas until just this last August, but they've only bloomed near the ground and never on the top of the plant. Very interesting. We've tried pruning several different ways, but nothing seems to work. What is our problem?
Well, I'm going to suggest one other pruning change, and that is going to be do your pruning about the third week in August. That's as the flowers would be fading anyway. And you're going to take it down fairly short, 6 or 8 inches above the ground. If you look at the picture, all those flowers came from very low buds on the plant. That was what was buried in the snow for the winter. By cutting back in August, they form their buds in September and October, and then Mother Nature piles snow on them all winter. Snow is a very good insulator. So hopefully there will be a lot more bloom next year.
Good advice. To see if it works.
Yes.
Love it. This is from Bill. Why are my green tomatoes splitting before they turn red?
Okay, that usually tells me that this is uneven watering. The plants are getting too dry. The skin kind of firms up on the tomato, and then we either get a really good rain or you give them a good watering, and the fruit expands, and of course the skin is set up, and they split. So even out your watering. Don't let the plants get exceptionally dry between waterings.
This is another tomato question. Kathy says, what would cause my tomatoes to turn just on the bottom of the tomatoes? It looks like a dark brown, almost black. What am I doing wrong?
Blossom end rot. That is a chemical imbalance. That is it's a calcium imbalance. And what you do the day you plant your tomatoes, you get some yield booster, which is actually a liquid calcium you spray right on the plants. Follow it according to the directions, and if you do this up until you pick your first tomato, by then the roots have spread out, the plant can take the calcium out of the ground, and blossom end rot goes away. But if you're growing in containers, you'll spray right through the entire season.
Let's see, this one is from Nancy. Some of our arborvitaes sustained winter burn, with one being almost completely brown. Will pruning revive these?
Pruning can, on the ones that are just kind of brownish around the outside, even the one that is quite brown, wait and see if you get new growth coming from the inside. Arborvitae are one of the few evergreens that will sprout from the inside, and by pruning the outside a little bit and opening the inside to some light, it might help go ahead and promote growth toward the interior of the plant. But we're just going to keep our fingers crossed.
Some good news there.
And another Kathy is asking, how do you get tomato plants to produce more tomatoes and less vegetation?
Well, you use a tomato fertilizer. This is going to promote fruit production and not so much in the way of leaves. And you can over-fertilize tomatoes. Follow the directions on any fertilizer that you're using. You can fertilize to the point that you get this absolutely gorgeous plant, virtually no fruit. So watch your fertilizing. I think that is the problem here.
Elaine, how do I grow a tree from a pine cone, and what time of year works best?
Well, you want to collect the pine cone as soon as the scales start to open up. And you'll take the pine cone, put it in a paper bag for about 2 weeks. Shake it really hard, and the seeds should come out of the cone. You immediately plant them out in a little reserved nursery bed to go ahead and let them vernalize through the winter, and then hopefully they're going to sprout next year, and you're looking at anywhere from 3 to 7 years before the plant is big enough to move someplace else in your yard.
Okay. Ginny says, why are my pillows so tall, over 6 feet?
Why the what are?
She
I
said
bet it's
pillows.
probably willows.
Maybe she meant willows. It was asked twice, but it said pillows.
Autocorrect.
That is really hard to say. Could be, again, a little over-fertilization. Lord knows we haven't had too much rain this year. I think we're still running a little bit behind, aren't we? So it's one of those things where don't get carried away with the fertilizer. A little fertilizer is nice. And remember, Mother Nature, the only fertilizer that she is scattering out there in the forest are the leaves that fall off the trees. So it's a very low grade type of fertilizer, don't get carried away.
And then a quick question here. Is adding fertilizer okay at any time during growth of vegetation?
Well, the thing is, we are coming toward the end of fertilizing as far as our perennials and evergreens are concerned, because we've got to let these plants start to get ready to go into winter. We don't want to force late growth that isn't going to harden off before cold weather comes and then damages the plant.
All right, Craig, thank you so much. A lot of great questions this week, and be sure you join our Facebook Live with Craig each and every Wednesday. There you can submit your questions and be a part of the conversation.